you get home.
Steely Dan made danceable. What's next? You know what this song reminds me of?
Shopping for produce?
Come on. I'm in the middle of a touching memory here. It was the summer of '74. I bought a Chevy convertible that burned oil like the retreating Iraqi Republican Guards.
I love that in a car. An Impala.
Yes.
Well, what did you expect?
You like me.
You like me?
What?
You like me!
Stop the music. Fellas, please. Would you stop? Please. Fellas. Play something nice. Are you free for lunch tomorrow?
I'm not free, but I am definitely in your price range.
My son Charles is going to be in town.
Please excuse my ill-timed gold digger joke.
I thought we could all have lunch.
Exactly which of the three of us would consider that a good time?
Maxine, I think that Charles hasn't apologized to you yet because he wants a chance to do it in person.
How long will he be in town?
Well, he's opening a new office for us here in Hartford. We're trying to consolidate.
So he'll be here for a while.
I think the phrase is the foreseeable future.
Well, it'll be so nice for you and Charles to have the chance to work closely here in Hartford for the foreseeable future.
Now Taylor's decided that she wants to be in Sarah Jane's group, so I don't have anyone to be in mine.
Why don't you be in Sarah Jane's group, too?
Because Susan Oglesby is in that group and she hates me.
I thought you were doing Genie in a Bottle with Kelly and Rita?
They won't let me. Susan Oglesby told them not to.
Well, obviously we need to have Susan Oglesby killed.
Life stinks.
Life does not stink, Lauren. Frankly, it's this so-called talent show that stinks.
I love the talent show.
Lauren, a talent show is when kids get up and exhibit talent. What your show has is a bunch of little cliques that get together and lip-sync Britney Spears songs.
But everybody's gonna be in it.
Well, fine, so be in it. But why don't you really do something? Look at a musical. Pick out a nice song and do a real number.
What's a musical?
Oh, like Oklahoma? Or The Wedding Singer?
What about The Sound of Music? You could do Do Re Mi or The Cuckoo Song.
All by myself?
Sure. Why not?
We can watch it together this afternoon and pick out a song for you to sing. Oh, and I can help you with your choreography, and we can figure out a costume.
Okay.
You're welcome, honey.
This is gonna be so much fun.
Mommy's always here to help.
According to Gunther, the victim died of a heart attack. It was after the victim's death that Gunther dismembered and disposed of the body. I should dial 911, but there's that new chainsaw in the basement. Vincent?
I can't believe this. Right outside the cafe in the middle of broad daylight.
What?
I have an idea for a novel.
Good.
Out of nowhere, like it dropped out of the sky.
Well, that's great.
Let's go.
Where?
Well, I need a legal pad.
Vincent, we haven't paid. You can't just stiff the waitress because you thought of a novel.
I'm sorry. Sorry to be late. Thank you for coming in. I received notification from a mandated reporter that one of your foster children was injured.
We had to take Jimmy to the emergency room.
What happened?
Eric happened.
Eric. Well, he's generally a pretty good boy.
He attacked Jimmy.
We were going to call you anyway.
The other kids are picking up on it. We're having discipline problems. They won't make up, Maxine.
Eric was the aggressor. If we can't put this to bed, he'll have to leave.
Eric's had some very bad luck with foster placements in the past.
Believe me, we know. It's taken us nearly 6 months to gain his trust. We like Eric. We'd hate to lose him.
Your Honor, the reason Julie Baker has not had any contact with her parents in the last 5 years is that she feels she has suffered enough of their abuse and that any further contact would jeopardize her emotional sobriety.
What kind of abuse, Mr. Spurrier?
Clyde Palmer was a violent drunk with a history of...
Mr. Palmer's a recovering alcoholic, Your Honor.
Miss Rose, it is the respondent's turn.
Clyde Palmer terrorized Julie Baker throughout her childhood. He was physically abusive, he was emotionally abusive, he was psychologically abusive.
Your Honor, we're not here to argue about Julie Baker's childhood. The issue before the court is the Palmer's right to have a relationship with their grandchild.
In Troxel versus Grenville, Your Honor, the Supreme Court states that parents have the fundamental right...
Right, I've read that decision, Mr. Spurrier, and I'm sure you were also about to mention the 1996 Castagno case, which is the actual controlling case law in the state.
Exactly.
So, Miss Rhodes, in light of those previous rulings, what are we doing here today?
Sadly, Mr. Palmer has recently been diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and his prognosis is bleak. All he wants is a chance to get to know his granddaughter while he still has time.
The petitioners have filed on behalf of both the grandparents, Your Honor, not just the terminally ill one. Therefore, they are seeking ongoing visitation rights. And besides, death is not guaranteed to anyone.
You must know something I don't, Mr. Spurrier.
I mean predictable death, Your Honor.
Ah.
Mr. Palmer could go to Lourdes next week and be cured, and then this case is no different than Troxel versus Granville, which would render this way moot.
Well, despite its potential way mootness, I think the Palmers have a right to put on evidence that not visiting her terminally ill grandfather would seriously harm the child. So, despite those previous rulings, I am going to set this matter for hearing.
Your Honor, if I could bring your attention to this
Counsel, why don't you approach the bench? Mr. Spurrier, calm down.
This is all right. I thought it would take less time away from our house, honey. We skipped the swanky lunch.
Dad, I know about your coffee shop addictions. You don't have to make excuses.
Well, you're in for a real treat tomorrow night. We're dining at Maxine's house with her entire clan.
Oh, well, that sounds delightful. I'm looking forward to meeting them.
Yeah, and I've got some condos lined up for you to look at this afternoon.
Dad, would you calm down on the condos? I haven't even said maybe yet.
Oh, really? I was under the impression that this was definite.
Yeah, and I wonder how you got under that impression.
Hello? Oh, what? Excuse me. Yeah, Gene, yeah, okay. Yeah, put him through. Yeah, Roy.
You know, Maxine, we haven't had a chance to talk yet.
Well, I know.
So I haven't had a chance to tell you that I really resent what you did.
What I did?
Our conversation was meant to be between you and me. Now, if you really care about my father as you claim, why would you want to hurt him by disclosing it?
No, to the office.
Charles, if you don't want me to hurt your father by telling him about the slimy, underhanded things you do behind his back, maybe the best approach would be to stop doing them.
Here you go.
So, can you describe the kinds of things that took place in your home on a regular basis in terms of your father's behavior?
He'd come home from work around 6 o'clock, and my mother would meet him at the door with a drink. I was supposed to leave him alone so he could unwind. Unwind meant have 3 or 4 more drinks. And a good night, he would just pass out on the sofa in front of the TV after dinner.
What if it wasn't a good night?
Yelling, screaming, cursing, throwing things. I would go and hide in my room. But often my mother would... I think she would tell him stories about how I'd misbehaved to get his anger off of her. And then he would come in my room and beat me.
With his hand or...
His belt. A switch from a tree, the fly swatter, a hairbrush, whatever was around.
Objection. Your Honor, Clyde Palmer could have been the Marquis de Sade 25 years ago. How is that relevant to current circumstances?
Your Honor, the through line is vital here.
Well, given the fragile state of Mr. Palmer's health, you're not going to have any luck convincing me that he's going to be chasing his granddaughter around the room trying to beat her with various objects.
Well, no, of course, but...
And according to Miss Rhodes, a much more recent and therefore pertinent part of the through line is Mr. Palmer's recovery from alcoholism, which I assume has had some effect on his alcoholic behavior.
Your Honor, recovery is just a word they're throwing around.
Are you telling me that you're afraid your daughter will be physically abused by your father?
Physically? No. I tried letting Claire spend some time with them about a year ago. And she came home in tears. She didn't know why. But I did. I grew up in that house. It's the way they talk to each other. It's who they are. The atmosphere in their house is poisonous. I barely survived it, and I don't want my daughter to be around it any more than I'd want her to play in a toxic dump.
You and Jimmy have always gotten along. What changed? 14 stitches. That's you really hurting her. The Crofts are thinking about having you removed from the house.
They are?
If you can't explain your actions and make up with Jimmy, yes.
I've been in a lot of foster homes. But the Crofts are great. They're nice. The food's good. I think they like me.
Of course they like you. But they have to think about the welfare of the entire house.
He stole my t-shirt.
You fought over a t-shirt?
It was my Metallica t-shirt.
A t-shirt?
A Metallica t-shirt.
Finally got Ariana to sleep. Vincent! Could you grump a little quieter, please?
Sorry.
What are you working on?
The exclusive Baldwin Academy's controversial relocation to the top of Carter Drive. Fate of the free world rests on my choice of a lead. Hey! There's a reason those are crumpled.
I'm in a mood. Probably just being too hard on yourself. Rudy Lukatsky wanted a son. But more importantly, he needed a son.
That's something else.
What?
Perfect first line to a novel, I'll never write.
Vincent, if you have an idea for a novel, you have to write it. You have an obligation.
Two.
God, the universe, countless book clubs worldwide, yourself. How long would it take you to write it?
I don't know. A year, at least. I thought about cashing in my dad's mutual fund.
Oh, no, you can't do that. You incur outrageous penalties and give Peter a chance to feel smug.
So, what do I do? Explain to the landlord that I'm an artist, I can't be bothered by pedestrian concerns like rent?
I'll pay the rent.
Don't be ridiculous.
No, really. You can pay me back in babysitting services.
No, I don't.
Oh, Vincent, this is perfect. Don't wreck it with stupid macho pride. Are you a man or an artist?
I was kind of going for both.
Just do this, Vincent. Do it for the three of us.
Have you seen any signs of violent behavior since your husband stopped drinking?
No. No, not at all. I mean, he's not the most happy person. He's not a happy-go-lucky person. That's not his nature. And I have a problem with nerves. I always have. To tell you the truth, Julie's never been a picnic either. She's always had a very negative disposition. She's self-centered, always finding fault. I haven't had a good life. By the time Clyde straightened himself out, Julie wasn't talking to us anymore. Well, I had a little bit of hope when Claire was born, and she brought her over to visit a few times. But then Julie took her away. The doctors told us that Clyde only had about 3 months to live. Now, what would it hurt if we spent some of that time with our granddaughter? Just a few months of happiness out of an entire lifetime. Is that so much to ask?
Well, the guy was obviously a living hell, but now he's just a sick old man.
Does that make him a better person?
Excuse me, Mr. Onward Christian Soldiers. Aren't you supposed to believe in forgiveness?
I do. I just don't believe in cheap grace.
What?
You've never read Dietrich Bonhoeffer? I keep forgetting that I'm smarter and better educated than you.
Yeah, and the loftiness of your intellect is exceeded only by the depth of your humility.
Dietrich Bonhoeffer was a Lutheran theologian who was killed in a Nazi concentration camp. He wrote about the difference between cheap grace and costly grace.
And the difference is?
Cheap grace is what people are looking for when they want to skip the part where they have to repent.
Well, if grandfather stopped drinking, doesn't that count?
Depends on why he stopped drinking. Was it because he felt lousy about the way he treated his daughter?
Well, you Grays certainly have all the bases covered. The ladies are public servants, and Vincent's an artist, and Peter's a financial whiz.
Oh, I'm hardly that. I'm just an insurance salesman.
Don't put yourself down, Peter. He runs his own business.
It's a highly underrated profession, if you ask me.
Insurance salesmen are like dentists. Everybody hates them until they need one.
You restore people's lives. I mean, actually, you all really do the same thing. You bring order to the chaos.
Not me. I feed off the chaos.
What's chaos?
It's your room after the brownies were here.
So Maxine says you're going to move here.
Yeah, possibly.
Probably.
And my father is trying to make me an offer that I can't refuse.
Are you married?
Well, no, but I've just never been able to find anybody who'd put up with me.
Well, you almost got married once.
Yes, well, she wised up at the last minute.
Then maybe you could date my mom.
Lauren, I have a lot of single friends.
Well, you folks are sure making the thought of moving here attractive. And Maxine, if this is any evidence of how you cook all the time, no wonder you can't get anybody to leave home.
Thank you, Charles.
This is nothing. You should see her dance.
I thought you were sort of nice.
Amy, there are a lot of nice sociopaths in the world. It may not be fair, but it's a fact of life.
You and Jared talked about this?
Oh, he thinks I don't understand, Charles. People are blind when it comes to their children. Except for me, of course. That's coming from downstairs.
Lauren? Lauren, are you okay?
Nothing ever could. So somewhere in my youth or child. What? I'm practicing.
This is the song you're going to do for the talent show?
Yeah. Do you like it?
Well, I guess. Kind of.
It's a fine song. Let's go finish the dishes, Amy.
I just thought you were going to do something like Do Re Mi or the Yodel song.
I like this song.
She likes this song. Now let's go and let her finish practicing.
Yeah, but this song isn't. I mean, there's so many cute songs. Like, what about the Flipperty-Gibbet song?
Grandma.
I'm trying, honey.
This is the song that everybody fast forwards through.
This is the song that Lauren has chosen, and she needs us to leave her alone so she can work on her act.
She's gonna make a fool of herself. A boring fool.
You're the one who wanted her to show her talent.
Well, I thought she might have some.
I must have done something good.
Hey.
Hey, sweetie. Where's the food?
What?
You were supposed to order.
Oops.
I only have half an hour. You working on your novel?
Yeah.
How's it going?
Great.
Trying to get a lot done before your staff meeting?
I don't have a staff meeting. I quit.
You quit?
Yeah, I'm a real writer again. I mean, I was always a real writer, but I was a hopelessly blocked real writer, just killing time as a reporter.
Oh. I thought you were making a living.
Yeah, that was secondary.
So, how are you going to do that now?
Babysitting. Donna and I worked out a deal. She's going to pay the rent in exchange for my taking care of Ariadne. It's a perfect arrangement for both of us.
So, Donna's going to be supporting you and you're going to be raising Ariadne?
I know it's a little unconventional.
No, it's actually a very conventional family. So I'm the mistress?
Yep. You're the mistress.
Okay, great. Just checking. Can I be the mistress now?
After this paragraph.
She says you argued over a T-shirt.
And that's what happened.
You and Eric have been good friends.
Yeah, well, that was before.
Before what? I have to resolve this, or one of you will have to leave the house.
Eric should be the one to leave.
Why? Exactly.
Because he's a fag.
You know better than to use that language, Jimmy. Did he proposition you?
Make a move? Of course not. He wouldn't dare.
Then why do you suddenly think he's homosexual?
I found his stroke magazines, okay? Looking for his Metallica T-shirt, I found them. They were full of naked guys. Nasty.
So you confronted him and he beat you up. There had to be more to it than that. You threatened to tell the profs, didn't you? Jimmy.
All I wanted was that stupid shirt. He never wears it anyhow.
If you had tried to blackmail me, I would have hit you too.
Hey.
Hey,
What are you doing?
picking out hair.
Hair?
Yeah, I want to change. Thinking Meg Ryan, you've got mail. That I'm too cool to even brush my hair look.
I like your hair the way it is.
Maybe Winona Ryder. She always looks so sophisticated and independent.
Do I get a vote on this?
I don't think so. You change your life without running it by me. I think I can change my hair.
You angry at me?
Angry? Oh, I don't think so. I just need to distance myself from you.
Why?
Because I don't trust my own judgment anymore. Your life seems weird to me. And then I think, is this weird? Really? Seems weird. But maybe I'm too conventional to have an artistic boyfriend. But I saw Henry and June. I know how you people are.
Okay, I'm not Henry, and I'm not you people. Look, I had an idea. I made a dinner reservation tonight for us at Christini's.
I can't tonight. I'm having dinner with my friend Jody.
Who's Jody?
Just someone I used to hang out with when I was single. I've lost too much of what my life used to be. I'm so wrapped up in your life, and your life is so possibly weird.
I really think you're overreacting.
Maybe. I don't know. I just need to figure it out for myself. I have to get back to work.
I am not a fag. Please don't use that language. I don't want to leave the Crofts. You think that's what would happen if Jimmy told him you were homosexual?
Everybody hates fags, except for other fags.
You're 15, Eric. You don't know what you are yet. And what you say about gay people is not true. Not for everyone. Some things about who we are we can change, and some things we cannot. And decent people like the Crofts understand the difference.
I'm sorry I hit Jimmy. Things are going great at the Crofts. I got friends. I like the school. Why do they gotta know what Jimmy says?
You have a right to your privacy. But it would be better to live without keeping certain things a big secret. If the Crofts know what you're going through, they can help. You don't have to worry about what Jimmy says.
I was not a perfect father. I was a better father than I got credit for, I think, though.
Would you say you made most of your mistakes while under the influence of alcohol?
Absolutely.
How long ago did you stop drinking?
5 years and 72 days now. I don't need a bunch of strangers giving me a cake. I can read a calendar. And I don't need to keep beating myself up about the past. I got my daughter to do that for me.
You heard your daughter testify that there were problems when she tried to let you spend time with your granddaughter.
That's not true. We had no problems in our house. We had a good time with Claire. She had fun. She had fun with us.
Why do you think your daughter says there were problems?
Well, my theory, I think Claire would come home and say what fun she'd had, and that would make Julie mad. She'd start bad-mouthing me and tell all her hateful stories. And then Claire would get upset. Claire sees me as I am now. A mother won't let go of the past.
Mr. Palmer, is there anything you'd like to say to your daughter about the past?
Of course, plenty I'd like to say.
Well, this would be a good chance.
You ever think what my life was like all those years? Or can you ever think of anybody besides yourself?
Eric is, homosexual?
I'm not sure he knows what he is. But certainly he's struggling with impulses in himself he dislikes.
Gay impulses.
If he is gay, he'll need people he cares about to accept that in him, so he can accept it in himself.
This is a problem.
The most important thing is that you know what he's going through and can help. Oh, no. No, Alan, please. Irene, this is exactly what Eric feared. This is why he fought with Jimmy. Your rejection will destroy this kid. Please.
We're simply not prepared. If we'd had some warning...
What Eric needs are foster parents that understand his life choices.
Choices? Believe me, this is not Eric's choice.
It is if he chooses to act out his homosexual impulses.
It's not fair to the other kids.
We want what's best for Eric. A more conducive environment for his particular lifestyle.
I guess you're right. He certainly deserves much better.
We're sorry.
Yes. I'll let Eric know how sorry you are.
It's open.
Hi.
Hey. How was dinner?
Halfway through the hors d'oeuvres, I remembered why I don't have dinner with Jody anymore. She's really boring.
Oh.
And then I remembered why I fell in love with an artist in the first place.
Oh, because I'm not boring?
Don't make it sound so unromantic. And then I drove around for a while and I thought about us. And I realized that a lot of our problems are really... A lot of it is really my problem.
Really? What problem is that?
Your whole family thing? I mean, whether it's weird or enmeshed or a paragon of family mental health, I'm jealous of it. I mean, you met my parents. I wish I liked them enough to be too close to them, but they make me wish I'd been raised by wolves. And the Donna thing, I blew a gasket about her supporting you because... And this is not noble, okay? I'm not proud to admit this, but I realized I was angry because I have never had anyone to support me. My parents, they didn't even help put me through college because they didn't approve of my impractical major. And yet I've given money to all my more practical siblings because they're drowning in debt, and yet they're still considered the successes. I am so tired of being strong.
Carol, I love your strength.
I know you do. Everybody does. Everybody loves strong people because they never ask for anything. But that doesn't mean that they don't need anything.
What do you need right now?
I need to be a mess.
Go for it.
Later, probably some chocolate wouldn't hurt.
Someday, when I'm a famous novelist, I'm gonna pay for all your chocolate.
Because battered women hiding from their husbands don't need publicity. Fred, I'm going to call you back.
I was in the neighborhood.
Really?
Well, I was after the taxi dropped me off. Before that, I was driving out to the airport. Charles.
He's gone?
Yeah, he made his decision. He doesn't want the job. He likes living in South Carolina, and he likes his law firm.
Are those the only reasons?
Who knows?
Jared? We don't like each other. Charles and I.
I'm aware of that.
And I don't think that time is going to cure that. And frankly, I don't think it's my fault. And even more frankly, I'm not sure how you and I can have a serious relationship when I think your son is a jerk.
Maxine, people our age come with baggage. I mean, everybody comes with baggage, but when you're in your 20s, you know it's just an ugly beanbag chair, a pile of student loans. But people our age, we come with some serious stuff. Yeah? I come with Charles. And I know he's not everybody's cup of tea.
Meaning people who are sticklers for little things like, say, being treated decently.
I've always had a soft spot for him because he's always been kind of, well, I don't know, he's socially awkward. Just the opposite of the other two kids. I mean, they're charmers. Got that from me, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Charles used to talk to me about it. He said he always thought that other people had some kind of a handbook that he didn't get. It was always a struggle for him to deal with people. I felt he needed someone on his side. And that someone became me. You don't have to like Charles. You don't even have to pretend to like Charles. You don't have to be in the same room with him ever again. But just don't hold him against me.
Frankly, this has been a very depressing case. The petitioners have not succeeded in convincing me that the child would suffer harm if kept from her grandfather in the remaining months of his life. In fact, from what I've observed, I think the child is much more likely to suffer harm if thrown into this mess. It seems everyone involved here is obsessed with finger-pointing, and no one is interested in forgiveness or repentance. So, I am denying the petitioner's request for visitation rights. Next case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're right about one thing, Your Honor. She's not a bit interested in forgiveness.
That's my stuff.
Yes, it is.
Where am I gonna live now?
That's how you and I are going to spend today.
I'm changing schools. See ya. I knew this was gonna happen.
I didn't. I thought the Crofts were wonderful people.
They are. They're the best people I ever met. They liked me. They liked me.
Eric, you are one of the stories I tell people when they ask why I do this job. I tell about a boy so undernourished that he was blind for a year. You've overcome so much with so little help. 2 years ago, you couldn't even read. Look at you now. Top of your class.
So, everybody hates fags.
Everybody does not hate fags. We are going to go and find you the most wonderful foster home. And you know what? If we don't, you can come and live with me at my house.
Really?
Shame on the Crofts. Shame on them. I would be proud to have you in my house. On one condition.
What?
You stop using that word fag. I hate that word. Except when one gay person uses it with another, and then it's funny. I don't know why. Put your belt on.
Performing her original composition entitled Peace. Next is Lauren Cassidy singing Something Good.
You
If I coached Lauren, she would have been singing the Yodel song.
Amy, she's...
And does Katie even show her face?
Amy, she's fine.
No, it's my fault. I should have let her lip sync. I mean, it's really the school's fault. This whole thing is stupid.
Excuse me. I'm sure this little girl worked very hard on her act.
On this?
Her mother could be sitting anywhere around here.
I am her mother.
No.
I've never seen either one of them before.
What am I going to say to her?
You're going to say, darling, you were wonderful.
She wasn't wonderful.
You're allowed to lie to children about things like this, Amy. It's in the Bible.
But don't you think that's part of the problem with kids today? You know, it's politically correct to tell them that everything they do is brilliant, even when it's not. We validate them when they don't deserve validation, and then it doesn't mean anything when they do. Don't you think it makes them grow up with all sorts of entitlement issues?
No, I don't.
Well, at least I can always count on you to tell me the truth.
Amy, do you remember in the 9th grade when you wore those flesh-colored leotards and danced to Lady Godiva in the middle school talent show?
Yes.
No matter what I said at the time, you weren't wonderful.
Okay, I will think of something diplomatic to say, but I am not going to lie.
Mommy, Grandma!
Hey! Hi, sweetie.
How was I?
Well, sweetie, you were... brilliant.
Really?
Absolutely. You were the best thing in the show.
Why don't we get ice cream to celebrate?
Okay, I'll go get my stuff.
Was I ever wonderful when you told me I was wonderful?
Once or twice.
Once or twice? When?
Just now.
Okay, that was one. When was the second one?
Coming up next on TNT's Prime Time in the Daytime, an old case comes back to haunt Amy. All the drama of judging Amy is next on TNT.